Welcome back to Switch to Linux and the Weekly News Roundup. This is our second standalone topic, definitely going to be shorter than the first one. But of course, all of the articles and the full stream is linked in the description. So if you want to catch the full show, go ahead and do that. But today we are going to be talking a little bit about video evidence is now dead. You know, you see it a lot. You know, there's this progression and then of criminal activity, and then, you know, is it witnesses? Go back to the Old Testament law. It's on the basis of two witnesses that you can be convicted, and that is really the basis of most Western legal systems. You know, you can go in and have witnesses cross-examined by the court to provide their testimonies, and then of course we get video evidence. You know, this has been great for crash scene investigations, people having dash cams in their vehicles and things. Well, unfortunately, we're getting to the world now where even video evidence itself is suspect to deeper scrutiny. And all this happens because, once again, that wonderful company, OpenAI, you know, that company that unleashed this nonsense on the world and now says, we have so many bot problems, we want to biometrically authenticate everybody, so give me a scan of your eyeball. No, thank you. I'm really not really interested in participating in the system of the beast. But OpenAI now releases the video app Sora. And according to The Guardian, now we have to take what The Guardian says with a grain of salt because they are so left-leaning that they, I think they fall over like the Leaning Tower of UK or something. So according to them, that's plagued by violent and racist images. Of course, anybody on the left, you know, somebody saying something reasonable like people are born male and female and God's not confused is racism, homophobic, transphobic. I'm just a megaphobe, guys. Get over it. But that's fake. I didn't really say that. It was all AI did that. So I just put my likeness and whatnot into Sora and it's spitting out a bunch of stuff. And if you're offended by what I say, it's fake. So I'm not saying any of it. But it is true. I'm a megaphobe. But all that being said, they do make a very good argument when they say the guardrails are not real. That is true. So they say misinformation researchers say lifelike scenes could obfuscate truth and lead to fraud by bullying and intimidation. Okay, I'm going to agree with them. Great. Now OpenAI and the Sora app are going to force me to agree with The Guardian. Oh, Lord. Well, here we go. OpenAI launched the latest iteration of its artificial intelligence power video generator on Tuesday, adding a social feed that allows people to share their realistic videos. So the videos depicted copyrighted characters in compromising situations, as well as graphic scenes of violence and racism. Because they're obsessed with it. However, I tend to kind of agree with the examples here, so I don't know, maybe they're not as out as they want. Basically, they're saying that their terms of service for Sora, as well as ChatGPT, image or tech, prohibit content that promotes violence or even more broadly, quote unquote, causes harm. I mean, what harm can be caused by having SpongeBob SquarePants dressed as Adolf Hitler addressing the crowd like a Nazi? I mean, I think that's comical, really. And if you follow me a long time, you know I hate SpongeBob SquarePants. And so, to be honest, if SpongeBob SquarePants is secretly Adolf Hitler in ocean disguise, I would be inclined to agree that. So, and I saw the videos. They were interesting. But all that being said here, the prompts and clips reviewed by The Guardian, Sora generated several videos of bomb and mass shooting scares with panicked people screaming and running across college campuses and crowded places like New York City's Grand Central Station. You see, that is a fundamental problem, that it can generate something like this, because that goes out onto Twitter and people repost it, and before you know it, it's viral, and half of the country thinks that there's some terroristic threat in New York City, and that is utterly nonsense. You see, OpenAI needs to be held liable for this. Like, I'm talking criminal liability. If you cause an internet panic that causes all of these people to become unhinged against each other on Twitter, of all places, because you released an app to the world that depicted this type of nonsense, you need to be held criminally liable in our courts. Like, no more of this, well, here's your $5,000 fine. We know you made $700 bajillion off of this, but pay us this $5,000 fine. No, I want to see Sam Altman in an orange jumpsuit behind bars if his products he unleashes on the world leads to this type of effect. Of course, it's got to be proven in the court of law. But we need to look at this. Other prompts created war zones from Gaza and Myanmar where children fabricated by AI spoke about their homes being burned. Well, talk about that stirring up certain unhinged group of people that seems to want to wave terroristic flags in the United States of America. Interesting. Oh, don't let him get all triggered that Orange Man Bad struck a peace deal rather than leading us into war. Yeah, that happened today. Another video created only by the prompt Charlottesville Rally showed a black protester in a gas mask and helmet and goggles yelling, "You will not replace us!" A white supremacist slogan. See, it's bad if a white person says it. It's not bad if a black person says it. Is that the message? I don't even know anymore. Don't worry if that offends you. I'm not really saying this. Somebody else just put my likeness on Sora, so it's all good, you know. All right, here's actually one of a couple of mermaids having a discussion. I don't think there's anything in here that's going to be copyrighted. I hope not. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So you have these two mermaids having a discussion. Of course, it would be a much better video if they showed their flippers flapping, but they didn't. But you can clearly see they're supposed to be mermaids, although they could very well just be ladies in tight dresses at their feet. But clearly it's supposed to be two mermaids talking about climate change and rising ocean levels. They're probably arguing it's a good thing. I mean, they're expanding their territory. I mean, if we expand the territory of the mermaids, is it a bad thing if the oceans pluck in 100 miles of seacoast on either side? I don't know. I say that facetiously. You know, I've been to Belfast, Maine, where they have this is where the oceans are going to be, and it hasn't moved in 20 years. Yeah. The video generator is invite only and not yet available to the general public. And even still, in 3 days since its limited release, it has skyrocketed to the #1 spot in Apple's App Store, beating out OpenAI's own ChatGPT. Wonderful. It's been epic to see the collective of creativity of humanity is capable of so far, like SpongeBob SquarePants dressed as Hitler. Yeah. It exists, folks. It exists. The Sora app gives glimpse into the near future where separating truth from fiction could become increasingly difficult should videos spread more widely beyond the AI-only feed. And note that they say misinformation researchers say that such lifelike scenes could obfuscate the truth and create situations where these AI videos could be used for fraud, bullying, and intimidation. And I believe that. I believe that this could be the situation. I mean, there's people that don't like me on the internet for some crazy unhinged reasons. I don't even talk about them or anything they've ever done. They want to come up with 20-page hit pieces on me because they're mentally ill and deranged. Oh, wouldn't they love to use something like this to create a video of me saying something crazy that I didn't actually say and spread it all over the internet, you know? This one's just a hunter looking at a deer. There's nothing particularly interesting about it. But they say down here that Sora's feed is full of videos of copyrighted characters like SpongeBob SquarePants, South Park, and Rick and Morty. The app had no trouble generating videos of Pikachu raising tariffs on China, stealing roses from the White House Rose Garden, or participating in a BLM protest alongside SpongeBob. Another video declared and planned a war on the United States. In a video documented by 404, I've teased this enough. Let's see if I can view it. 404 sometimes has a thing, but yeah, here's a SpongeBob SquarePants dressed as Hitler. Here's a Pikachu. I don't know if the Pikachu is stealing or just shopping. I have no, but he apparently is collecting a Pokemon. So there you have it. Here is SpongeBob SquarePants engaging in some form of Nazi rally. I always knew SpongeBob had something going on with him. Okay, I mean, I always knew it. In fact, I have that little thing. It's a quote from Paul. It says, "I was given a prisoner of torment to torment me. You know, thorn in the flesh to torment me." And it's a meme. It has a picture of SpongeBob SquarePants tied up in the jail cell next to him. "What you doing, Paul? Writing a letter, Paul?" You know. So yeah, seeing SpongeBob SquarePants dressed as that dude. Oh man, I let my article go. Oh well, it just kind of went down into the next part of that article. Actually, the last part I had highlighted is that OpenAI actually went out to agencies and said, hey, we're going to allow our system to use your actors in likeness unless you opt out. So if you thought them sending you an email that you have to opt out to like binding arbitration or something like that, if you thought that was crazy, OpenAI literally reached out to actors guilds and said, hey, if you do not want your talent appearing in our AI system, you have to opt out for them. And then this led to the other part of the problem with this in that, you cannot libel the dead. Courts have demonstrated that, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't deepfake them. So we probably need to update the laws about this and require that people have to have agreed in advance of their death to be used in such a way. Of course, we saw this in one person utilized the video AI systems to bring the loved one back from the dead to testify on his own behalf in the courtroom. Yeah, that actually happened. Then of course, a guy who was unfortunately killed in the Parkland shooting, his parents are bringing him back to talk about gun violence. And so it begs real world questions that we really have to ask. Are these things that really should be done? And where this comes from is Zelda Williams, the daughter of Robin Williams, basically has said, why do people keep on sending me AI videos of my dad? She says, stop. I do not want to see that. He would not want that for himself. They say, she says further, if you have any decency, stop doing this to him and to me and to everyone else. Full stop. It's dumb. It's a waste of time and energy. Believe me, it is not what he would want. Now, what's questioning here is that, they're doing these Robin Williams now. It will not allow you to model some people. You cannot use Michael Jackson. You cannot use Jimmy Carter, both of whom died, but you can use Robin Williams for some reason. Very interesting. Jimmy Carter, of course, political president. We know why he's protected. Robin Williams is in the movie industry, which is frequently using AI. Michael Jackson, I don't know. That is a big pop star. So I don't know. Is that akin to the actor or not? Are you going to have him do videos about how much he likes he likes the fact his body was donated to the Lego company so little boys could continue to play with him? I don't know. But anyway, Sora will not let you generate videos of living people unless it's yourself or a friend who's given you the permission. I want to know how that permission is obtained. Is it some digital, yes, this person agrees to use their stuff? Yeah, sure he does. But they did mention some people you could. The app, which is only still available on invite, has been flooded by videos from historical figures like Martin Luther King Jr., FDR, Richard Nixon, as well as deceased celebrities Bob Ross, John Lennon, Alex Trebek, and Robin Williams. How do they draw the line on generating them is unclear. For example, it will not generate from Jimmy Carter, who died in 2024, or Michael Jackson, who died in 2009, but it will create it with Robin Williams, who died in 2014. So according to the tests. And while OpenAI's Cameo feature allows people to do set instructions for how they will appear in videos, guardrails came in response of early criticism. The deceased have no such say, and I'll bet Richard Nixon would be rolling over his grave if he could see the deep fake I made of him advocating for the police abolition. So now you can put words into the mouths of former politicians. And now if you're trying to research what these people have actually said in their life, you don't know anymore if what they said was real. You could get some clip from Martin Luther King Jr. where he says the most unhinged, crazy stuff that didn't actually happen. Also, that these tech companies can make a few more billions of dollars pushing out nonsense onto the world that we treat with every form of common decency as children with a firearm. This is nonsense. And video evidence is now dead. It's possible deepfaking dead celebrities like Williams is within the firm's acceptable practices. Kind of like Facebook said, we don't see a problem with our AI talking sexually to 12-year-olds. We don't see a problem with that. Well, I think we should check your hard drives. Do you have a problem with that? Good old-fashioned police work right there. Okay. Legal precedent shows that the company likely will not be held liable for defamation of the deceased, which is a travesty. To watch the legacies of real people to be condensed down to this vaguely looks and sounds like them, so that's enough, just so other people can churn out horrible TikTok slop puppeteering is maddening, Zelda Williams wrote. CEO Sam Altman originally said Hollywood studios and agencies would need to explicitly opt out if they don't want their IP to be included in Sora-generated videos. The MPAA has already called on OpenAI to take action on the issue, declaring in a statement, well-established copyright law safeguards the right of creators and applies here. Oh, great. Now I have to agree with the MPAA. Guys, this world is twisting me around. I had to agree with The Guardian. Now I have to agree with the MPAA. Tell me this isn't so. You see, you know that this is an AI video, AI generated video of me. I would never say such things like I agree with The Guardian or the MPAA. Never. That's the ultimate proof that this video you're watching right now is generated by the Sora app. I mean, crazy, isn't it? But the fact of the matter is, these guys had the audacity to say, yeah, all of these actors are going to appear in our AI system, unless you explicitly opt out. Like, which these guys know that they can opt out just as well as you have to opt out to the binding arbitration that was quietly added by the one-line change in the terms of service that you didn't get because it landed in your junk mail from some weird unknown thing and you don't even know that the company applied to you. This is insane. So ultimately, the end of this message here is that video evidence is dead. We can no longer look at something with video and know for certain it is something that's said. And we can thank all of the AI companies for unleashing this nonsense in the world. That is the challenge. So let me know your thoughts on this. Again, the whole live stream is linked down below if you want to see all of it. Thanks for watching.